Hey everyone, welcome to today's $1,400 stimulus check update, third stimulus package update. There's a lot of noise going around in Washington. Joe Biden's been meeting with leaders in economic and industrial sectors, looking to form a coalition, basically looking for people to back his stimulus plan. Now, a lot of what they talk about has basically been hush-hush, but we do have some comments from people that have been involved in those talks, what they're going to be about, and how that could affect what's in this next stimulus plan. $15 an hour minimum wage is back on the discussion table. Of course, many are for it, many are against it. So there's some new information on the status of that being included in this stimulus plan. We have survey information about what most Americans think about these stimulus packages, and of course the ever important time frame. When could we actually expect to see money into our bank accounts? Hey everyone, my name is Randy. Welcome back to the Late Night Grind, a new YouTube channel that I started. I'm covering these stimulus package updates because it's of great interest to me. So if you would like to follow along as these developments happen, go ahead, click that subscribe button as well as that little bell notification icon, and you'll be notified when I release a new YouTube video, which I do when I get new information, which nowadays is happening pretty fast and furious. And the best thing that you can do to help out a new YouTube channel grow like this, besides hitting the subscribe button, is actually smashing that thumbs up button. It really helps out with that YouTube algorithm. All right, guys, well, let's get into it. So a recent poll came out asking Americans what they think of Joe Biden's economic stimulus package. And approximately 20% felt that the package was too big. Another 40% felt that the package was just the right size, and another 40% felt that the package could be a lot bigger. And when asked where they got their economic figures from, they said, economic figures? So Joe Biden was back at it, meeting with other economic and business leaders, this time over phone calls, basically discussing plans for his stimulus package, what that could mean for large companies, what that could mean for the economy overall. Now, most people didn't want to comment because of the privacy of the phone calls, but a few anonymous sources basically came out and said, well, basically it was Joe Biden trying to sell this stimulus plan to these leaders. A lot of discussion revolved around the $15 an hour minimum wage, things that could be done to help businesses and their employees the best, how things could open up as quickly as possible, expand, things like that. Now, it looks like the plan for this is for basically to build a coalition, more or less a whole bunch of people that are seen as leaders in the economy and the business world to back this stimulus plan, which is kind of interesting because I think Joe Biden should be spending his time kind of selling his stimulus plan to some of his own senators, being that those are the ones that have the chance to block this whole thing altogether. And what is in this package? Well, of course, it's the $1,400 stimulus checks that would go out to pretty much everybody. Adults, child dependents, adult dependents, people who were left out of the last round of stimulus checks would be included in this one. SSI recipients, SSDI recipients would also be included. As long as you're not claimed as a dependent on somebody else's taxes, that is, you would still be included in this one. What also may or may not be included is the $15 an hour minimum wage increase. Now, of course, this is one of these hot topics that it's really been a hot topic, honestly, for about the past 10 years. But being that the Democrats put it in this stimulus plan, it drew a lot of criticism. The Senate had a vote on it, and they voted that now is not the best time to be increasing costs for small businesses. So they voted to take it out. The Education and Labor Committee went ahead and put it in anyway. So right now, the House of Representatives appears as if they're going to be voting on this stimulus plan with the $15 an hour minimum wage included, which this is kind of interesting, being that if that is included, there is a chance it may not pass the Democratic Senate, because there is one, if not two, Democratic senators that say they are opposed to the $15 an hour minimum wage increase. Keep in mind, this isn't an instant increase. This would be a plan to get the minimum wage increased from $7.50 up to the $15 amount over the course of about 5 years. Joe Manchin himself, who is against the $15 an hour increase, said he could probably get on board with an increase to $11 an hour. There's all kinds of economists that right now seem to be cherry picking information. Some say, well, the $15 an hour would have great benefit to overall society, lifting people out of poverty. But then there's the other side of it that says, well, it's also going to force small businesses into laying off several million people because they simply can't afford it. And on top of that, a lot of the people that are going to be getting this increase in pay are going to go from paying no taxes to actually owing taxes because they made a lot more. And then when you take off the amount of taxes they owe, there's a possibility that a percentage of them would actually make less money. So it's one of those things that eventually it's going to get there. Whether you're for it or against it, it's going to get there at some point, simply because of inflationary reasons or just flat out pressure from society. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez basically tweeted out the other day that we can get things done if there's enough pressure, if there's enough social pressure on government. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below, for $15 an hour minimum wage or against it. I put out a poll a couple of days ago. Several thousand people responded to that already, and it looks like about 72% are for the wage increase. Another 30% are against it. But I'd love to know your thoughts in the comment section below. And real quickly, wanted to touch on the monthly stimulus checks that have been floating around. In fact, I did a video on them, several videos on them over the past 2 days. These multiple stimulus checks, basically what they include are the child tax credit expanded and then broken up into monthly payments from July until December. So 6 payments where you would get approximately 50% of that child tax credit in the form of monthly payments. So if you have one child under the age of 6, you would receive approximately $300 a month per child from July to December, and slightly less than that, about $250 a month for each child ages 6 to 17. This has been widely accepted on a bipartisan basis. Mainly the Democrats who came up with that original idea, their plan would actually add about $54 billion to the deficit. Republicans actually came up with a plan very similar, but what they would do in order to pay for that is actually take a little bit of money away from some welfare programs, as well as a little bit of money away from the tax deduction. So the Republicans' plan would also send hundreds of dollars a month per child, but wouldn't actually add anything to the debt or the deficit moving forward. Right now, it looks like it's being written into the stimulus bill, the Democrats' plan, which of course comes with a little more spending. But like I said, it's gaining bipartisan support and even social support, as some of the more Republican conservatives have said we can get on board with this, at least their Republican plan, because doing this is more of instilling the fact that parenting and being able to properly take care of your children is more about social good than just lining your bank accounts. Basically encouraging parents that you should not be scared of having a family, having kids, just because of economic factors. Now, of course, a couple $100s a month won't necessarily make a huge difference if you're having one or multiple children. You're still going to need some income. All right, now let's get on to everybody's ultimate question, and that is timing. So as it stands right now, and I've reported on this multiple times, February 16th, this is the deadline for all these budget committees to get in all their new ideas, everything they want to write into this stimulus plan, and submit them to Nancy Pelosi, the leader of the House of Representatives, to get it put in the budget plan. Once that is all said and done, they will put it to a vote in the House of Representatives. Nancy Pelosi said multiple times, if she was asked if this could get done before March 14th, she said, absolutely it will get done before March 14th, long before then. And actually, her plan is to get this done possibly a day or two after the 16th. So 17th, 18th, 19th, we could be looking at a vote on this in the House of Representatives. If it passes, which it's likely to do, it will then get passed to the Senate. And there, if everything is ready, they could actually have a vote on it the next day. And right now, they're going to have to rely on that Reconciliation Act, which will allow the Senate to pass this bill with only 51 votes, rather than needing an additional 10 Republicans to vote for it, which just is not going to happen for this. And of course, if it gets through with a 50-50 tie, Vice President Kamala Harris would cast that deciding 51st vote in order to get this passed. But there are one, possibly two holdups. Like I said, Joe Manchin of West Virginia, he is the one Democrat that is considered a conservative or a centrist, whatever you want to call it, basically against spending too much. And the $15 an hour minimum wage, as well as too much money for state and local governments, has been a block for him. He is against it and said he will most likely not vote for it if it includes those things. So this is where I go back to the House of Representatives, and you have to ask, why would they put that in the bill if Joe Manchin has said he is not going to vote for it? My guess is that they feel they can put so much pressure on him that he'll just have to sign, facing just mounting social pressure as well as congressional pressure, that he may bend. We will see. If that so back to the time frame. If that passes, which I've just read could happen the week of February 22nd. So if everything goes through the week of February 22nd, right now there's probably going to be about a 3 to 4 day delay from that gets passed into law. Of course, Joe Biden has to sign it. until the direct payments will have to start going out. The last stimulus package, about 3 days after Trump signed that bill, direct payments started going out. That was extremely quick compared to the CARES Act last year when they tried to do everything for the first time. It's estimated that paper checks will probably still take about 2 to 3 weeks to start going out, and the debit cards about an additional 3 to 4 weeks on top of that for them to start going out. So it is estimated that as soon as this is signed into law, the vast majority of Americans would see this stimulus money in their bank accounts within 1 to 3 weeks, possibly a little bit more if you have extenuating circumstances, don't have your tax returns in order, or some other issues. So it's looking like end of February, beginning of March, more than likely the middle of March before we could see some money actually in our bank accounts. It's unlikely that it would go much longer than that, but we'll see. Please tune in as these developments happen every single day. I put out videos every single day to keep up with them. So if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing and follow along. Don't forget to smash that thumbs up button. I appreciate you guys watching this video, and I'll see you guys on the next video.